everybody, welcome back to day 3 of our squat test. And the reason why we're taking this one movement and kind of building on it, as we will with other movements throughout these videos, is because a lot of times we come in and we stretch something out, but we don't test it in real life. And so we want to make sure that we can come into some of these functional movements, because if we can't do them now in life, we're not going to be able to do them 5, 10, 20 years down the road, and be able to pick ourselves up from the ground, or sitting on the toilet, or doing just the basic things that some people later in life actually need help with. So let's start by just testing or picking up where we left off in the last video and just come into our squat. So I told you I wanted the hips or the feet under the hips. Now, depends on the acetabulum or the hip socket, which will make this right for you. And what I mean is right where the ball at the top of the femur bone, right where that ball kind of fits in the hip, and it's able to move around. For some people, it's directly under the hip. It allows them to come into a forward and back split a little bit easier than others. However, for me, and some of you watching this, it's a little bit off to the side. So having the feet a little wider is actually better for your squat position. So with that said, I don't want to tell you where exactly to put the feet. So I want you just to pick one up, shake it out, pick up the other, and shake it around, and just allow the feet to kind of naturally, or find that natural position on the ground. And so it could be straight under the hips, it could be a little off to the side, whatever's kind of comfortable. Okay, and from here, we're going to start at the feet. We're going to energetically screw the feet into the ground, right foot clockwise, left foot counterclockwise, creating that torque at the ankle joint and at the hip, making sure the knees have a soft bend to them, right? So we create that stability, that length, that danda, or that strength from the ground all the way through the crown. But at the same time, it doesn't mean the joints are locked. Them being soft actually activate the muscles that wrap the bone. So we want the knees, gentle bend to them. We'll squeeze the glutes. So this allows our pelvis to find that neutral. We'll hug the low belly in and up the front of the spine, shoulders back and down. And then we'll come into our squat position. And you come down as far as you can, right? If it's here, maybe you even have a chair under you or something, or you start to come down a little bit more. And each time you eventually lower a little bit closer to the ground. Again, you can do this on your back just by hugging the knees in the same way. But if you're here, I'm going to make sure that we can hit a volleyball from this position, right? We got mobility here. We can actually move a knee out. We can oscillate both hips here, which just means to kind of create some circles from the hip sides, get inside, move the knees out with the elbows. And we got some mobility from this position here. And we can also press down to stand up, right? We're not just standing up, but we're pressing into the ground to create that rebound as we stand tall. And so hopefully you've been building on this and starting with a 5-minute test, eventually working your way up to a full 5-minute squat. And then we're going to come into our stretches for today. So we're going to do a couple stretches. We're going to get into the hip, and then we're going to get towards the back of the leg into the hamstring. And there's going to be a lot of variations as we do this. So just follow along and take this at your own pace. So this first stretch we're going to come into, we're going to find one leg forward here. And I'll start with the left side just to show this leg forward. in kind of a position that we are comfortable in, that we can move from, but we find the leg somewhat forward. Now, if you need to put something under your hands and stay high, that's fine, or come high here in the thigh, that's okay as well. But we'll find this foot in this knee right over the ankle. So this is more at 90 degrees here. Hands inside, come down to the palms if you can. Slide this right leg back, or the back leg back, and turn that hip towards the ground. So the leg that's back will turn that hip towards the ground. And I'm going to switch back and forth between left and right just to show you in the camera. But you just stay on the same side as we do this. And so we're just turning that hip down. We're staying high here. And if this is comfortable, we start to make our way down slightly, maybe onto the wrists or the elbows. And I'll even come here and face the camera here. And see if we could slide down closer to the ground. You might stay high here. Try to keep this foot firmly on the earth. And if this becomes too much, we just come out and then we lower back in. And so stay as high as you need or come as low as you choose. Just working inside of this leg. And maybe even taking this knee and trying to hug the body with this knee so we create some strength on that one leg side. And from here, we're actually going to take the hands and begin to walk them out away from that front leg. Okay, but at the same time, we're going to move that knee away, keeping these 5 toes on the ground, because this is what the 5 toes should be on the ground, especially when we're squatting. And so we're improving the ankle mobility here as well as we're moving that away. Sliding the hands out, pressing the earth away. And you can also oscillate that left side a bit, right? Just creating some little circles in that left hip. Pressing the earth away. As we do this, maybe that right elbow comes down. You really reach long through the left fingers, stretching that left armpit side down to the hip, really opening up that left side. We're just going to slide back through center. Okay, and here we come back through center. Just going to go ahead and crawl our hands over this left foot, dropping the left knee down. So now we're on the edge of the foot. Okay, the toes coming up, and we oscillate this left side hip, just some gentle circles on the left side, even making your way out, reaching that right arm long, stretching that right underside. And just taking your time here, exploring what it's like to be in this position, breathing, not forgetting to breathe, telling your nervous system everything's going to be okay. We'll eventually make our way back to center, where we tuck the back toes here. Now we're going to press the toe mount down, lift that back knee off the ground. And just move a little bit forward and back from this position, being in this lunge position. And then we'll go ahead, we'll drop the knee down, untuck the toes, and we'll begin to crawl the fingers back. So if you had a couple of maybe yoga blocks or something under the hands, you could use them to stay up high if you choose, or stay down, just stretching this leg. This left leg or this front leg might never get straight, right? It might stay slightly bent. Or just stretching that underside, that hamstring side. And then we move back forward. So we just kind of walk the fingers forward. And then we press the hips back. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. So just going back and forth a couple of times like that. Just really stretching left hamstring. And the next time we're forward, we're just going to slide this foot back or unwind and just come back for a brief moment just to reset, and then we're going to jump into the second side. So do that same thing. Make sure you do it equally on both sides. Stay for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes on each side, and just explore that hip. Just open it up just a little bit. And if it was too much to come into some of that stuff, just make sure the back knee's down. Use some blocks, use some props, or even try to come into the same shapes on your back and just try to open up that hip if you can. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and we will see you guys all next time.